Do you know where you are? Do you know where you are?
This is Appetite for Distortion.
And welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode 89. It is Brando and special co-host today, the man that is no longer on social media. That's Mr. Raz Q. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, Brando?
We talk, even though you're not on social media, we talk all the time because, and I always give you credit, you know, you're slowly but surely helping me build my YouTube channel, which I really appreciate, and you're doing a great job with it. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm having fun with that, man. Like, I actually am learning about this video stuff. It's kind of fun to do. I mean, man, I got more ideas in my head that I want to learn how to do on the computer. So it gets a little frustrating, but yeah, I'm plugging along. I'm only 6 months into this, so. Yeah,
slowly but surely. I think we have our first 35 episodes up or something like that. I don't even know. Like, so a lot of times you remind me, like, hey, let's get the next 5 up. Okay, let's do that. But it's hard. But I know you have a lot of other projects that you're doing in addition to helping me with my YouTube channel. And that's, I want to talk about what you've been up to. And that's going to be a part of news. I had to extend the because I couldn't find the button on the board. Before the update in Raz Q news, I just want to give a thank you out to alternativenation.net and ultimateguitar.com. I do this as in case if you as previously heard on the AFD show, if you missed something, some great conversations with Roy Orbison Jr., and also the awesome episode with Teddy Zigzag and Roberta Freeman talking about the riot. Roberta thought she was going to die. Teddy didn't even know that. So some articles were made by Ultimate Guitar, Alternative Nation, and also metalheadzone.com. So it's really cool to see when we're recognized, and it just brings in more and more listeners. And I just want to get to what Raz is getting to, because I know Howard Teman, our guest for today, is calling up in a few minutes. Tattoo shop owner, but the GNR tie is that he did some work on Lies and Use Your Illusion too. So we're going to talk about what exactly he did for those albums in just a few minutes. But Raz, I mean, I get all the time, like, tell Raz hi for me. We miss him on social media, but you've been keeping busy regardless.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Like, every once in a while, I'm like, man, I should just go back on Facebook and go back, because there are some people that I was keeping up with that I hadn't talked to in years that I miss. And then, yeah, it's kind of more of a fleeting, I should get back on Facebook. And then I was like, man, Facebook's evil. And then I just dismiss it. And then it's just over. But yeah, I don't want anybody to take anything personal. Like, if you go to my website, razq.com, that's razcue.com. It's like you can email me. My email's right there. Send me a note. I won't blow up your email. Like, I won't call you 1,000 times or email you 1,000 times. I'll say hi back and tell you where I'm going to be so you can avoid me, stuff like that.
And what have you been up to, though? I mean, like, I know, but I'm asking for the sake of, because you've been doing, in addition to, speaking of YouTube channels, but I know you've been doing.
I got my YouTube channel, and I've actually been putting up videos, like, semi-regularly. Like, I just, I bolted a wheelchair on a wheelchair. I bolted a wheelchair onto my ass. No. I put a camera on a power wheelchair that I have, and I've been driving around Fremont Street.
I love those videos, man.
Making little videos and, like, cracking fun at people and everything. But the main goal, and I'm going to do this either next weekend or the weekend after, I'm going to go down and get one of those little circles, where the people, like, busk or whatever, like the street performers or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm just going to do some, like, either public readings or just talk to people and promote my book and promote. I have a new line of apparel, Luck U Las Vegas. It's LUCKU Las Vegas. That's on my website too. You can buy some shirts and everything. Those are pretty popular. So yeah, I'm going to promote my books and promote my brand and get my stuff in the shops downtown, and we'll see how it goes from there.
And you could tell me if you don't want this to be said or not, but were you looking into kind of repurposing that GNR interview?
Oh, I'm actually working on that. This is what I did before. All I did in March, I guess, we put it up on YouTube. Or I put it up on YouTube, the original 1985 Guns N' Roses first.
And if you missed it, it was episode 50 of the AFD show that we premiered it. But yeah, it's on RazQ.com.
So with Robbie Gardner playing drums and Tracy Guns in the band. So that's on YouTube right now, and it's getting a lot of views. But all I did was take the original cassette and just put it straight through like a little cheap ass transfer into my computer. And I never really liked the sound. So right now I'm working on the sound. I got it it's in a project and it's open and I'm working on it. So probably what are we like in the end of October right now? So definitely by mid-November I'll have like a re-edited. The music's going to sound better. The images aren't going to be so like not know what I'm doing, how to put pictures into a movie thing. So yeah, it's going to be like 100 times better, and it's already popular. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. And it's so great that first Guns N' Roses interview from 1985, it's like Izzy talking the most, which is just, that doesn't happen. So you really found a gem, Raz, and that's going to be really cool for me and the rest of the GNR fans to kind of, they hear it even in better quality than it is now. So too cool. Now, I know we've been waiting a couple weeks for this interview, and I'm glad that you're here because I know you guys go way back. Howard Teman, Teman Studios. And just, I'm a tattoo guy. If you follow the AFD show on social media or even me, my Instagram, I'm just a tattoo guy. So I want to talk to him more about what he did with Guns N' Roses, but talk about tattoos. I'm interested. I believe he's calling up right now. Hey, Howard.
Hey.
Hey, Howard. Do you hear me?
Here. I can. Can you hear me?
I can.
I can hear you too. What's up, Howard?
Is that the Raz and Mataz?
Raz, it's Raz. Raz Q to the rescue.
So very cool to see you or talk to you guys.
No, I appreciate it, Howard. You taking the time. I think it was Desi Benjamin several episodes ago of doing this silly little podcast I've been doing and just recommended all these cool side characters. It's funny. I was thinking this part takes in what I was just thinking, and also last night. Raz and I were just talking off the air about The Simpsons and about how Apu's being written off the show.
Yeah,
that's a whole different thing. And how our friend wrote our journalist friend Art Devine wrote a whole article about why that documentary shouldn't be taken seriously. Anyway, how The Simpsons relates to, I guess, why we're here. There's so many other great side characters like Apu or like Milhouse or just the random Rod Flanders, just random people. Not to compare you to Rod Flanders, Howard, but
he's Disco Stew.
Haiti ho or whatever he says. Oakley.
Disco Stew doesn't advertise. That's Ned Flanders, though. Yeah, no, you're talking to a complete and utter Simpsons nerd. But
right.
My mom says I'm cool.
But I'm also a Guns N' Roses nerd, so I look at maybe like the Appetite lineup as the Simpsons family. But they've had this long life and all these awesome side characters. So Raz being one of the characters, and now Howard. Is it Teman?
Has Raz had his own episode?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Dilly.
Raz, what number? I know you remember.
What, me?
Yeah.
I think this is. Oh wait, I don't know. 4 or 5. I might be counting last time when we couldn't make with Howard as one, but.
Oh, you mean how many times have you been on? You've been on, yeah, 4 or 5 times. But our first episode was, I don't know, it was in the 40s or 30s, right?
Oh, episode number?
Yeah.
I don't know, 26. Number 26.
Oh.
I was your 26th guest.
The reason why, Howard, he knows, because we're all trying to expand our talents, just like you, just going from drawing, flyers from bands into being a tattoo artist. Raz is expanding his abilities to doing video editing, and he's working on my YouTube channel. So he's really getting invested. Yeah.
That's very cool. I thought he was like up to Taco Bell now.
Why is that?
I want to do a little ambulance chaser lawyer commercials, man. I think there's money in that.
You should do that.
That's cool.
You should deal with stock footage, man. It's like $29 a month subscription to video service and stock footage.
It's like Better Call Saul.
There you go.
He actually.
They have
watch that show?
Fan fiction that people write, like stories.
Sure.
About a TV show or whatever. I wonder if I could do like editing fan fiction, and do a Better Call Saul commercial.
That's good.
I'm sure there's a market for it. I haven't seen this season, though. I watched the first couple.
It's great. It's the best show on TV. One of the best, for sure. But remember when he was doing those commercials?
Call me, Saul Goodman. Call me now.
I don't know if you watched the show.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh, it is. And well, I mean, here in Long Island, I don't know what it's like for you out there, but I get local commercials they try to do parody Better Call Saul. You know, there'll be some like Paul Feinbaum out in Suffolk County. Better call Paul. I don't know. They don't get sued, but before we go further, is it Howard Teman or like He-Man? Like He-Man? The T-Man?
Like He-Man with a T.
He-Man Women Lovers Club.
Yes, and if you take the H off my first name, Howard, and put it between the T and the E, I'd be the man.
Who's the first?
Wow.
Did you realize
That's
that?
a long way to go, man. That's a long way to go.
Say it backwards, spin around.
Yes, I get it.
How long have you guys known each other?
What do you think?
I don't know, like
30 years?
Maybe longer, huh? You know what's weird? Like you used to, I knew your car before I knew you. You used to live by the Hughes Market at what's that, Franklin and Highland or whatever.
Yeah, around there.
That convertible with the little leopard spots or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so you used to park it on the sidewalk, and I used to go, I didn't know you, and then when I met you, you had that car. Like, dude, I know that car, dude.
The car was famous. It actually made it on an MTV commercial with Rodney Rock or whatever, the wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
I did recently.
The Rock? I don't know about Rodney Rock.
No, The Rock. Randy Rocket.
Randy Piper? Rowdy Randy Piper?
Yeah.
He's dead.
Sitting in it on a MTV commercial, speaking of commercials. So my car was famous, infamous car.
And a cool car to boot.
Yes.
66 Impala, 67 Impala, something like that?
No, it was a 70. 70.
Oh, okay.
Paid $200 for it. And
was it? Did you just cut the top off, or was it a real convertible?
That one had the real convertible. That worked, and it was electric. It still worked. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that car. Sorry for the sidetrack, man.
No, it's all good because isn't that how Howard? Isn't that how Howard got started? Is custom painting cars? Is that where you're? Or do we? No. How did you get started? Are you from the West Coast? Like where are you from originally?
Yeah, I'm actually born in Canoga Park, but when we were 7, the family moved to Northern California, and we grew up in Redwood City, about 25 miles south of San Francisco, and we were all playing in bands up there. I got started just doing band flyers for all my friends who were in bands too, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. So when you were young, because I've spoken about this with Arian Bueller, who did because I know you've done some lithograph work as well, and he did the recent one for Not in This Lifetime. So I asked him how he got into drawing. You know, how did he discover that talent? Because, I mean, I would look at a picture of Venom or Spider-Man and stare at it, and if I stared at it and spent hours on it, I can get it to look okay, but I don't have the natural ability. Like, when did you realize you had the natural ability or wanted to start drawing?
Oh boy, just as a kid, everybody would be sitting around watching TV, and I figured I can't just be sitting here soaking in this horrible TV. So I'd always have a art project going, and I would start there's like a pad of paper, and every page had to be like a fully themed piece. So I guess it's more of just like having that passion to be drawing, and composition is more important sometimes than actual talent as an artist, composing a theme and drawing a scene or something like that. So as early as, school, all my school folders had drawings all over them. And I did the same thing. You get the comic book and you copy the RGs or something like that.
Sure.
Or then it started getting into Rip Off Press, which was San Francisco based, which was close to us in Redwood City. And you had, the fabulous Furry Freak Brothers,
I love that.
That was a big influence.
What is that?
Arrowhead and Freak Brothers and all that stuff.
What is that? I'm not familiar.
It's a Rip-Off Press. Those guys were doing comic books, just like full-on Cheech and Chong style. Plot.
Oh,
And they're the same people who did Mr. Natural. R. Crumb did a lot of work for them and stuff like that.
right on.
Yeah. So that was
Homework later, Brendan. You can look all that stuff up.
the fabulous.
Brandon, I call you Brendan, and your name's Brando.
Brandon,
Brando.
Brando, it's all good. I mean, I don't have a cool name like Raz, and Howard just looks badass.
Well, Brando is pretty cool.
I mean, nobody cares about me. This is going to be a story about you, but just to tell you, because this is our first time really talking. I mean, I'm just Brandon Weisler from Long Island. When I started in radio 15 years, because I think, like you, like, what do I want to do? And I just like talking, and I couldn't shut up. I had to find the right venue for that. And Brando just sounded... Brando the Commando, actually, in college.
There you go.
Someone called me that, and I had a metal show, and I just left the Commando in college. So, and girls like call me Brando.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
He loves names like that, Brando the Commando. I mean, he said a lot of people in radio made it just because of their names. What was that guy's name? They were just talking about him from KOME radio. Oh, fuck. His name was super funny, really dirty. I can't think of it now.
There's a lot of
Maybe
dirty
it'll pop
names.
into my head.
But, of course, the classic Wolfman Jack.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
This is
Newman.
okay. See, this is, I like talking, like, nerd stuff with radio veterans, but I also like talking tattoo stuff, too, because I don't think you have none. You have virgin skin, right?
I got a couple tattoos back when they were cool.
What do you got, Raz?
Oh, I was one of the very first person to have like a Japanese character. Yeah, man. I got a little flaming skull, like about the size of a $50, maybe a little bigger.
Yeah. Where's
Okay.
that, on your arm?
Yeah, upper arm, left arm. I got them on my.
Kevin Quinn?
No, it was
Rikers.
actually Robert Benedetti did the. I both at Sunset Tattoo. But the Japanese character was Robert Benedetti. It says gun actually, and like a big gun, like a cannon. The Japanese girls giggle when they see it.
That's funny. That's great. That was the shop, man. That's where everybody started.
That's because that was like the only place back then, though, right? And then what's that, Spotlight or whatever down there on Melrose?
Right. And then Lou Bone opened up on Hollywood Boulevard, Arch of the Bone.
Wasn't it? Oh, he might even been. Yeah, he was around. Man, Hollywood Boulevard. They had shops on Hollywood Boulevard. I forgot. A bunch of shitty shops. Art was probably like the first good shop on Hollywood Boulevard, huh?
Yeah. All those shops are owned by like one guy. The ones which are a lot more west than Lou is down by the metro station now, down by past Vine. All the shitty ones are like west of Vine.
Yeah, exactly. In between. Yeah, by the
It's so difficult because I didn't get my first tattoo until I was 21, and this all ties into it all like beautifully together. My first tattoo was on it is on my left shoulder blade, and it's Use Your Illusion 1, or at least just the boy writing in the book, which of course from at some point I would like to get more of the School of Athens, the Raphael painting that they took it from. And I know you did some stuff in Use Your Illusion, which I want to get to, of course. But it's hard because it's like finding a doctor. You have to go someone that you trust and you care about. So when I moved for my first radio job up to Cape Cod, I'm like, this is where I'm free. I'm not like near my parents anymore. I'm going to start getting inked like crazy. And one of my first ones I got was a radio mic on my left shoulder, and now it's a half sleeve. And I ended up making really good friends up there who were in the shop and the shop owner, and that's kind of, and I have the same kind of great friendship with my buddy Joel, who has a great tattoo shop, Notorious Tattoo, out east on Long Island, who's been doing my Never Ending Story sleeve on my right arm. And again, these are good people in addition to the amazing work that they do. So that's where I'm so excited to have been talking to you. I know we're kind of just getting to know each other a little bit at the beginning of this conversation, but it's like when I was reading about you, and it's like, okay, you did some custom work on cars. Yeah, I know that wasn't technically where you started, but the flyers, which I've spoken to a lot of guests about, like how they did it, like Billy Rowe, and from Jet Boy, like that era was kind of crazy. Was that where you were also in that scene creating for? Yeah. I don't know if you did for GNR or like for Poison. Like what was the bands that you
San
would do
Francisco,
for?
Actually, Jet Boy were our roadies at first. I was in a band called Head On up there. We were a pretty popular band. And Jet Boy was named after our guitar player, Frank Wilsey.
Oh.
Fernie Rod, actually, Frank used to be called Jet Boy because he took that from the New York Dolls. And Fernie was his roadie. He was like his tech. He had a big afro. It was pretty funny. Anyways,
Fernie had an afro?
Fernie had the full-on Juan Epstein afro. It was, all he ever wore was overalls, and he looked like this little, like Chico and the Man. Anyways, and then he started his own band and named it after, he liked the name Jet Boy, and that's where they got that name. But yeah, no, I never did any of their flyers, but I did a lot of, local bands flyers, and I did a lot of the band Head On's flyers and work for that. And then I got recognized by Great Southern Merchandising when I got down here to L.A.
Okay.
Which before there was any indie labels or any of that, there's only 3 big merchandising companies that did all the tour T-shirts for every tour, and the one in New York was called Brockham, and the one in San Francisco was called called Winterland. And in L.A. here, it was Great Southern. And so every month they'd give me another band to do their tour T-shirt. Like I've done everybody from Bon Jovi to Cher to Leonard Skinner to, I did Kicks, all these bands. I did about 1 or 2 a month, which was great money back then. This is like late 80s.
Okay.
And I'd be pulling down like $1,500 for a shirt or this or that, which was when rent was like $200 a month. It was good money.
So I love that. So were you what kind of kid musically were you? Were you excited to do a Cher shirt, or would you rather do a Skinner shirt?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Big time. No, I made her the Statue of Liberty her New York tour, which was
nice.
A lot of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, what I tried to do is I really listened when the band or the manager told me their concept, and I was known as the one draft kid. Usually you have to go back and forth. No, do this, that. I would really listen, and that's kind of why maybe I'm pretty good at my tattoo shop does well, is because I really listen to what they want.
Right on.
Peg, try to get the concept down and put it on them, which is another great thing about tattooing is sometimes you don't have to be the best artist in the world. Nowadays, tattoo artists are just insane. I mean, they're better than photocopiers on some. They make the pictures that people bring in look better. It's unbelievable what they're doing.
I trip out on some of the tattoos you see, like the last 10 years or whatever. Like it literally looks like somebody had a print on their arm, like ran it through a printer or something.
I saw one that I believe I posted it on our social media of Slash's face that looked 3D. It was insanity.
It's better than the pictures,
Oh yeah.
Better resolution. It's better than like the 4 LED or OLED TVs that are kind of like the same thing. Just make it look so 3D.
Right on.
They gotta do that, man. Put an LED tattoo on it. That'd be pretty good, like a
LED 3D tattoo.
Yeah, 3D. They do glow in the dark 3D.
Like shape shifting kind of thing, like from whatever angle you see it.
Yeah. Well, 3D, 3D is all about layers, and I'm sure one day they're going to figure out a way to a machine do it or whatever to in skin is, 7 layers of skin. So if they put the ink in at different measures down the skin, it could become 3D.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely predict that probably in about 20 years. But what I was saying before is that sometimes a tattoo, just a simple, great drawing is better than, not better, but very effective trying to compete with these people who are just insane. If you really peg a good, sometimes tattoos, the more simple that you could see across the street is better than this crazy thing, blur that in 10 years is going to look like, a blotch on your skin.
I've learned so much from my artist now, but I didn't know before. It's just that your muscles and your bones are just you have to go with that. You can't just say, hey, I have this idea. I want to put it in this part of my body. That because it may not line up to the contours of, just the way your body is shaped. And it's like a car part. Like when I'm asking why he's doing the sleeve in the order he's doing it. He's like, well, it's like building a car. You have to use this part first and then that part. And so it's fascinating, and that you were able to. I love how I forget how it was written on your website, but basically you didn't even apprentice at all. You just went from.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you go?
Lou Bone. Lou Bone bought a poster rack, and he told me to come fill his poster rack with my posters. And I went down there, and he poached me. He said, normally you have to do that year of apprenticing, which is actually taking out the garbage and cleaning tubes. That's really all you do for that first year, and just watch everybody. He said, look, he knew my art, obviously, because he wanted me to put my posters in his shop. And he says, you already got the art thing down, so I'll show you the fundamentals of getting the ink in the skin, and you could start tattooing your friends as soon as you're ready. And I had just quit drinking and doing drugs, and I bought a motorhome, and that's what I was living in, a small little schnook, a Toyota schnook. And I parked it behind his shop, and I was there 24/7. All the other tattoo artists hated me. They were like, take a day off. I was there all the time, and I started tattooing within 2 weeks. I was transferring my addiction.
The right kind of addiction. No,
Yeah.
that's incredible. So how did you go to? I mean, did you ever think about that? And where that you would ever be a tattoo artist? Because obviously you had been drawing since you were a kid. Ever doing tattoos? And where does music come into play? Because you're also a musician.
Oh, yeah, that was what I was doing the whole time. The tattoo. I didn't start tattooing until I was 40.
Wow.
So everything before that was just living behind strippers' couches and being in bands and, not making a dime ever and playing music. I did make a little bit of money. I went on a USO tours, and we played for the troops in Kosovo and Bosnia and all that stuff, like a lot of L.A. people did.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, all that. The music was the first thing, The art was. But I always drew these posters, and that kind of supported me. That kind of was I called them my ATMs. I would go to all the stores on Hollywood Boulevard and see how many posters they sold and re-up them, stuff like that. So they're like my versatillers.
Huh.
You mean you don't do your own restocking?
What's that?
Hey, how did you work that? So you originally go in and say, hey, carry my posters, and if they don't sell, then I'll just take them back. But if they do sell, I'll restock you, and you just pay me, or?
Yeah. I mean, there used to be like a big company called One Stop Poster, and they were smart. They went and put poster racks in all the stores, and so they controlled what posters. They say you can't put any other posters in here. But I would schmooze and charm the owners, and I had that Rock and Roll Theater poster. That's one of my top-selling posters.
I believe over 300,000. I just want to give you the props for that. That's what I read.
Yeah, it still keeps selling. I can't draw another one that beats that one. It's actually a lot of companies that report back to me say it's their top-selling poster still to this day. It's one of their top-selling posters still. It still just keeps moving. They're actually going to be making puzzles of it soon.
That would be a great puzzle, the Rock and Roll Theater. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I would just charm them into holding. I guarantee this poster is going to sell. And, of course, they sold out faster than the other ones. The Rock and Roll Theater one did. So, they would have to deal with One Stop Poster. A lot of the Hollywood Boulevard souvenir shop people they're some cunning businessmen. They're Middle Eastern, and they're cutthroat. So they call their own shots. So if they liked it, they were behind you. If it was selling, they were behind you, and they didn't care about any of the rules. So they would do whatever they want.
Yeah,
so it worked.
That other poster company is going to pull out over 50 other posters selling whoopty shit, right?
Yeah. So
they're trying to play hardball.
You have to find enthusiastic people to support, the poster. But they wanted money, and it was a constant seller.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to make them money, of course, yeah. Hey, I'm kind of trying to do the same thing right now in downtown Vegas with my book and these T-shirts that I'm making and everything. But so I got a design, the Luck You Las Vegas or whatever, and. So yeah, that's why I'm interested. That's why I was asking about that, because I was like, man, that's my plan to do the same thing. But I just kind of been flaking on it, It's been the plan for a month and a half, and I'm just thinking I could go down there and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. But if I make a money, then
Yeah. Hey, Raz, here's a little suggestion. You need a snappier cover.
For my book.
Yeah, I mean, you need some crazy piece of art on there or something like that. It'll catch their eye a little better. Yours looks more like a textbook. Nothing personal, but that's my idea. Sorry to make it.
Well, I don't know any good artists that could do that for me. Like,
I mean, we have one on the phone.
oh yeah.
What a convenient.
Hey, if you got any ideas, man, I'm fully open to the.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could pay as much as like you making tattoos or whatever.
But Howard, I will say, while I kind of understand what you're saying with the like textbook versus something crazy, what initially drew me to Raz, in addition to just knowing he had a Guns N' Roses background, LA Guns, but was the handicap logo, because I have a handicapped tattoo on the inside of my left bicep with a mohawk and metal horns. Because I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm not as cool as Raz, but I do have leg braces and a cane. And a lot of people just think I'm walking like I'm a pimp. It still happens to this day. People just think it's part of who I am.
I think they said gimp.
No, I could laugh at that, but there have been several people who thought like I was trying to be a pimp. Yes, the 5'6",
The gimp pimp.
Yeah.
There you go.
That I have heard. But no, that'd be interesting. I'm sure he can come up with Howard like some sort of like flaming handicap logo and
but
incorporate
Like a caricature of you in the thing. I mean, your cover is snappy. I mean, it's got good colors and it's a good logo you have there. But that could be like the back of the book. You need like a.
Yeah, no, you're not the first one to say that. You're not the first one to say that, Howard. That's why I'm
like a Robert John kind of poster, kind of drawing in the front. Just something that's really whoa. What the heck is this? Something like a old,
like a Nazareth album cover or something like that, like colorful old 70s
like Gore or Cannibal Corpse, something like real sick and gory.
I mean, I'm down for shit like Iron Maiden. I love shit like that.
Well, look at that. We're brainstorming. We didn't even know that we were going to be. So, but that's awesome that you've always had this creative side to you, Howard, and fascinating that we've been talking about drawing and tattoos, but that wasn't even initially your first love. So you obviously wanted to be a band and make it as a rock star. So what did you play? I know you play piano, but like what was your role in the bands that you played?
No, I was a drummer.
Drummer, okay.
Yeah, I was a drummer most of my life. I have a piano at my house all the time, but that band Head On got pretty big in San Francisco. We were headlining the Stone and the Old Waldorf like on Friday and Saturday nights and selling them out. We got pretty big. We opened up for Ted Nugent at the Sacramento Civic Auditorium when Blackfoot's backed out. And we were like 16 and 17. We were doing pretty good. We opened up for Cheap Trick when they were huge.
Cool.
We were Bill Graham's little pet project for a little while.
Oh.
We had the worst management, though. They offered to manage us, and this crazy, drunken con man got a hold of us, and he just drove us into the ground. But that was the start. Actually, before that, I was playing in a band with my brother Alan. We were in a band called Axis. We were playing all the keg parties and stuff like that.
Right on.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's where it started. And then that band broke up, and I moved to L.A., and I was in 1,000 bands. We got to move into the big Houdini. It wasn't actually the Houdini mansion. It was across the street from the Houdini mansion, but it's a huge, this 30-room mansion in Laurel Canyon, right across the street from Houdini's and next door to the Tom Mix Frank Zappa house. And so we would have I moved in first, and then I moved my two brothers in, and we started the band The Apes, Sam Mann and The Apes. Well, first we were The Apes, and then our good friend from Redwood City, Sam Mann, who is mentioned in Raz's book.
Sam who?
Sam Mann.
Sam Mann. Sam the man? Is he Sam the man? Hey, I just made a joke that no one's ever heard before.
Yeah, I know. You shouldn't have said it.
Oh, man.
I mean, is Howard making that up?
Sam Mann was...
Sam Mann.
Raz went to go buy risers from him in his book. Remember that, right?
Sam Mann.
You sound...
Sam's a character. You'd have to meet Sam. He was like David Lee Roth meets Jim Morrison, kind of crazy.
Wow.
David Lee Roth kind of mouth.
I can't even.
Hey, that was like one of the best bands back in the day, man. Was Sandman and the Apes with Howard and his brother Alan and his other brother Eric. The Apes were
we were like that
brothers.
Two Live crew before Two Live. We were like doing real disgusting, filthy raps, and just I'll wait all day for you to come in my face, kind of thing. It's horrible.
Sweet backseat.
Yeah, sweet, SUITE, like the sweet, my back seat.
Oh, I never saw the spelling. Is it spelled like that? That's
Sweet. Yeah.
All,
I just heard the song. I didn't know that.
Okay.
What's that? Oh, nothing. I was going to do that Police song where it's rain, like a king's rain instead of the.
Oh yeah.
But it sounds
like Mad Rain, the band Mad Rain, Brent Turner.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's a
double entendre.
Is it? Can it be like is it an entendre if it's not sexual? I always thought that had a sexual connotation when it was said double.
I think that's when you add the word sexual to it.
Oh, you say like double entendre my cock. And it's,
you can.
You could, Raz. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, you're a Pulitzer Prize winning author.
So,
have you submitted your book to anything?
No, like I'm terrible at the whole promotion. My whole promotion originally revolved around that, like it's about Guns N' Roses, and all the Guns N' Roses fans are just going to buy it.
Yeah,
but that's cool and everything. But that's like people that like Guns N' Roses want to listen to Guns N' Roses, or they want like old pictures, and like as soon as you put those up, that's okay. Thanks for the pictures later. You got any more?
Yeah.
So I'm basically my whole promotional strategy's changed in the last 3 to 6 months, and I'm just about promoting Raz Q now. And then because the book is about me. I mean,
right.
Guns N' Roses is in the book, but it's just like 40 or 50, 60% of the book. But it's just how they pass through my life.
Well, that's how this what this podcast is really. It's kind of just the audio version of what Raz is trying to do. We have because we've been talking, for a half an hour now or so with Howard, and he has we haven't even gotten to the Guns N' Roses stuff yet because of he's an interesting person.
Here's a good segue. I got a good segue for you.
Well, if Raz it would be quiet for a second.
Yeah. The good segue is that's how I kind of got to know those guys. We all did, is because we would bring the entire Rainbow home, the Rainbow Bar and Grill home, because we were in that big mansion, and we would have jams there in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Because they could go till all night because there was no neighbors, and for some reason the Laurel Canyon is not in L.A. County, so L.A. cops couldn't come there. They'd have to bring sheriffs, so we could just make as much noise as we want, and that's any given Friday night there'd be half of Guns N' Roses would all be there, Faster Pussycat would all be there, all the bands that were all the upcoming bands, all the members were there, so we got to know them. That was like a cool party central place. And then we got my two brothers and I became the background players in the Lame Flames, which was Duff's wife was one of the Lame Flames, Mandy. And I guess it was also the Cat House. You just got to know everybody. It was the time when on Tuesday nights, everybody in rock and roll went to the Cat House. And then Wednesday night, everybody went to English Acid. And it was the same people in different clubs. And you got to know everybody. Everybody knew everybody. And so, that's when, like, every band, the bandmates became it was a very incestuous thing. I mean, you could be in this band with these people, and then in another band with the other people. And then everybody would be playing with each other. But Guns N' Roses was in the mix, and I think it was just from jamming with them and all. And Duff asked me to, I guess when Steve broke his hand in Chicago, they asked me to sit in with them for a show at the Whiskey, which I did. And I'm not sure really what the chronological order to all these things are. But that show is really cool. I got the whole thing on video. You could check it out. You could look it up on YouTube, Guns N' Roses at the Whiskey A Go-Go. I think it was 87.
Yeah, we actually have Axel introducing you right now if you have a few seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good...
drummer, Howard.
Hey, I know that guy.
Found out he was playing this afternoon.
So you found out you were playing that afternoon.
Well, even scarier than that is we were actually Duff came up and we went over like 4 songs, and what he didn't tell me is when we got there that the first song, I used to love her, but I had to kill her, was a song I never even heard before because the album wasn't even out yet. It was before Use Your Illusion or before Lies, and so they were teaching me backstage, and we ended up doing like 10 songs or something like that, and half of them I didn't even know, let alone I've never even heard.
Wow.
But that was a lot of fun. That was a great, great fun night.
Were you, because you said it was fun, so did you go into it like kind of, I don't know these songs, or like, you know what, I'll figure it out. I don't care. I'm with my friends.
Yeah. You know, I had the roadie from hell, Damon, sitting behind me, and also Dell, James, was sitting on the other side of me who knew the songs, and they were cueing me. And if you look, if you see the video, you could see them going, okay, stop here, go. Yeah, that kind of stuff. It was really funny. They were conducting me. And telling me, like, sometimes I'd be pounding really, you know, my dynamics were like, I was really enjoying it, and they're like, settle down, this is the slow part, or this is the mellow part. But, then Duff asked me to come in and help him write the song, not write it, just help him put together the pre-recording for, what's the song, So Fine, on Use Your Illusion 2. And I went down the studio with him, and I played drums while he played all the other instruments, guitar and bass and guitar. He did the guitar solo. We did the pre-production. We did So Fine before it was put together, before the band even heard it. And I played piano and drums on it. And then when they asked me to come down to the studio, and I went down to the studio, and the whole band was there, and they had just gotten back from their hiatus, and that was the hiatus where they hadn't even seen each other for like 2 or 3 months. That's the one where Axl got in a fight in Paris and all that stuff. So I walk in, and they're all telling stories about what they've been doing for the last three months and everything, and everybody's laughing. Then they played the song, and Axl said, "Oh, great work on that, Howard. When we do the album, I want you to play piano on it." And I said, "Fuck yeah." So then Steve gets kicked out of the band, and so they go. It takes a whole year to get a new drummer and start recording again. And out of the blue, I get this call, and it's Axl. He's going, "You ready to do your part?" That's why you got to give it to Axl. Axl is, you could say this about him or that about him, or he's bipolar, he's an asshole. He is a man of his word. He's got integrity, and he called me before Duff called me to say, "Are you ready to do your parts? We're ready for you." It was a year later. It's really cool.
Wow. Was there when they were looking for a drummer though? That's awesome that you were able to do the part on So Fine. But did it ever cross your mind maybe I can audition to replace Steven? Did that ever cross your mind?
No, I never even thought of that. No, of course. You want to be put in the biggest band in the world.
Sure.
They had everybody. At that same time when I played that one show at the Whiskey, they played a show, like 3 shows at the Perkins Palace, and what's his name?
Fred Curry.
The Cinderella guy, Fred Curry.
Right, from Cinderella.
What's that?
From Cinderella, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he played. He's an amazing drummer. They had every drummer in the world available to play that, wanted that gig. They're not going to get an unknown and pretty crazed out, drunken drug addict at that time. They could get anybody they want, and they got the drummer for the Cult. I'm sure if it ever passed through their mind, I'm sure it was like a second, and then they moved on to the next. The next thought.
Fair enough, and especially I guess if they kicked him out for drug-related reasons, and if you had a problem back then, why deal with it? But again, it wasn't
a problem. I was a professional. I was good at it. I've been told that by many people. I was just really in partying and having fun. But yes.
And then one day you realized that sleep and food were your friends.
Yes, that's true. Now I turned 40 and I went back home and did a reunion with one of my, bands when I was 20. And I look around and I said, Jesus Christ, every one of these guys have a family, they have a career and everything. I was living in LA, like I said, behind a stripper's couch, and I was paying like $100 a month. I couldn't even come up with that. And I was 40 years old, and I said, all right, that's it. I've been there, done that, and I turned my life around. It was.
What year was that? Was that that's
2004
videos? Oh, 94?
2004.
2004.
Oh, 2004. Oh, okay. So I still okay. I thought like as soon as I sold Folk You Studios, you were like, oh shit, now I got to get clean and sober.
That was the real reason. That was the trigger. Fuck You is gone. There's nowhere to party. No, you got to post more of those. Do you have any more of those videos from that time? That was fun watching that.
No, I just have that one. Like, yeah, you know what, dude? I dropped the ball back in the day. Can you imagine, like, if I would have just like recorded everybody that came through there?
Yeah. I have a lot of videos that I haven't shown anybody. They're on High 8. I used to get hired by Ricky Rackman and Janice to come down and videotape their thing. Sometimes they'd say, because I was one of the first guys. I had a business called Musicians Video Contact Service, which was like music contact service, but we added the video things. Video camcorders had just come out, and I bought myself a Sony. And I would walk around the rainbow, and people would say, "Are you from MTV?" I mean, that's how young the field was.
Huh.
And so they would pay me to come down and like shoot. I got like Cat House Anniversary 1, Cat House Anniversary 2, and they're not the best tapes in the world, but the funny thing is they promised to pay me $50, and they'd give me the money, but they never even call me and say, "Can we watch the tape?" So I got all that tape.
I don't know. We'll get Ricky because Ricky's a former guest of the show, but I'm trying to get him on again. Maybe we can talk to him about getting these old school videos out there.
One day that's going to be my retirement. No. F Ricky.
My retirement grease.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
What about your work on Lies? Because we went ahead to Use Your Illusion, but Lies obviously happened beforehand. What did you do?
Yeah, that was fun. We were all partying, and they said, "Come on down," and just went down to the studio, and everybody, they had all this percussion stuff. Actually, here's a unknown thing. In the beginning of I Used to Love Her, but I Had to Kill Her, you hear Axl say, rock, rock, he says something, and you hear in the background, that's me.
Shut up.
Screaming into, that is me, I swear.
I always thought that was Duff, man.
No, that was me.
I never even I thought maybe that was Axl or so. I never even put two and two together. I'm like, who did that sound? All these years, it's you, Howard. Oh, I love it.
It is. Here's another crazy one like that. Do you know the beginning of, I don't know the same, well, it looks here like we got a failure to communicate.
Yeah. From
Civil
Cool Hand
War.
Luke. From Civil War and Cool Hand Luke. Yeah.
So I was sitting in my little apartment, the one you were talking about on Orange, behind the Chinese theater, and I get a call, and it's Axl, and Axl says, "Hey, Howard, you got a VCR?" And I said, "Sure." He goes, "Bring it down to Rumbaugh Studios." No, it was at the record plant. Can you bring it down to, fuck yeah. So I brought down my $200 Foster VCR that I bought on Hollywood Boulevard, and they plugged it all in, and they put in Cool Hand Luke and recorded that off of my little VCR. How's that for a little stupid, useless trivia?
Oh, but that's great. And that's what GNR fans love, all these cool trips. Because these are epic songs, and like, how do they come together? You know, it's like, we may know Axl writing the lyrics, Slash with his guitar, but these little parts, like I said, all these little side Simpson characters just make the whole thing fuller and thicker and more enjoyable, and just makes a creative process to think about.
Well, the one thing I totally remember about that day is that besides hearing that song, we heard it. I heard it the day that it was being recorded, and with the big studio speakers, and it just sounds bigger than everyone. I was like, wow, this is a fucking badass song. But the thing that impressed me more than that is they said, are you guys hungry? And they said, yeah. And Axl got on the phone, and like a tray of the biggest tray of sushi I ever saw in my life came with everything on it. And I'm like, God, these guys are huge rock stars. I couldn't believe it. I know it sounds stupid, but it was like, wow, it was probably like $300 worth of sushi. And at that time, I mean, it sounds, why is that even a story? But
no, it sounds
back then, I was like, wow, these guys have really made it. It's so funny. That's what I remember in my head.
That's like, I remember,
love it.
you know, the thing when I realized like how huge they were is like when I just actually ran into Izzy on the street, and we were a couple blocks from the Troubadour, and it had to be like after the Appetite tour, everything was over, and so we pick up Izzy and we go to the Troubadour, and he's like, let's get some drinks. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like figuring that Izzy's going to go buy drinks. And he calls Eddie over, like the owner of the Troubadour, and it's like, hey, Eddie, how about some drinks? It's like, oh, no problem, Izzy. It's like, what do you guys want? And it's like, man, that guy he's a businessman that runs the Troubadour. Like, you don't get free drinks, you know? And all of a sudden it's like, this guy's, how many people want free drinks? It's like, man, this guy wants Izzy in his bar bad. He's going to buy drinks for like.
Right. That's crazy.
No, it makes it. I like it, and it's not stupid. It's the human element of when you realize that like your friends have hit like meeting Guns N' Roses have gone from just my buddy Bill, as some people have said, my buddy Saul, into becoming these icons in our culture. Or I can ask you, but I guess I've been kind of gotten it from your story. It took you a while. Like, when did you realize, like, hey, I'm going to do this for a living? But it seems like you've lived several lives, especially to not start tattooing until you were 40. I mean, did you have any of those prior, like, hey, I made it, like when you started making T-shirts for Cher, or like, hey, I made it when I was on a Guns N' Roses album? Like, did you ever feel like you made it?
No, I still don't.
That was my follow-up question. Sure.
I mean, I look at what I got now. I mean, like I said, that sober thing really helps a lot. Within 5 years of being sober, I was tattooing. I bought a house, and I met a nice girl, and we got married.
Mazel tov.
So I've got, I've actually got some money stocked away to retire, which I never thought ever would happen. So in that way, I've made it.
Yeah, 100%.
Who knows? It's a fun life. My life, I wake up every day and I come to work at 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and I draw on people. And I got a shop right downtown Studio City, which is like the Rodeo Boulevard of the Valley. I'm right in the middle of it, so I see a lot of stars come by and stuff like that.
It sounds beautiful. Go ahead, Raz.
You know, like a bunch of people already, like in your life, but plenty of celebrity and famous people. But just where your shop is, I imagine it's like at least every day or a couple times a week you get some huge celebrity just wandering in your shop, just looking around.
It was a lot. There was a lot more initially. I every once in a while, they're not really coming out anymore. I don't know. Maybe they're scared. It's not as much. I have. You can see them on my website. A bunch of the celebrities I've done, like I did Pete Rose on his birthday and stuff. And a lot of people. There's a lot of filming going on around here. So. Oh,
Terry Hatcher, Rob Schneider, the late great James Gandolfini.
Yeah. He actually didn't get tattooed. He came in on a Saturday, and I had like 2 chairs going. We were totally busy. And the guy I'm tattooing says, hey, Gandolfini just walked in. I turn around, and there's James Gandolfini. I go, whoa. And he says, yeah, I am so happy that I found you guys because I just moved in behind you, and I need to get a tattoo. And but he goes, I'm going somewhere, and I'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll do it then. I said, that's great, man. I'm looking forward to it. But, hey, you're in my store now. Can I get a picture with you? And he goes, I promise you I'm coming back, and we'll take the picture then. And I don't know why I was just so excited. I said, look, you're here right now. Make my day. Can I get a picture with you? He said, sure. So we took the picture, and he went to Italy and died.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like a week after he died. I found it like 3 or 4 days after he died, whatever. And somebody called up and said, you hear James Gandolfini died? I posted a picture of him, and I said, yeah, fuck you. You're fucking with me. And sure enough. So sometimes being pushy works out.
I saw where the story was going, but I'm like, I didn't want to say anything. I'm like, I think I know where this is going. Awful, and I don't know. It's obviously it would have been nice if he lived, but you kind of superseded fate by I'm like that, pushing for a picture. I do that all the I do that all the time, and I think it's great because talking about sobriety and things of that nature. Maybe somebody else that our guest in our last episode, David Roach from Junkyard, and we talk about what success is, right? And everything you just mentioned, a savings account, house, a lovely gal. That's success. It doesn't have to be like, I don't even know if I would want, if I was a musician, like Axl Rose success, or for me, would I want Howard Stern success? I mean, not money isn't everything. Do you want that kind of, microscope on your life where you can't go anywhere? I don't know. I mean, success is different to everybody.
Howard every day like I do, that he's a miserable son of a bitch. He's, I mean, I'm sure he's not really.
You guys are turning down a lot of BJs.
Yeah, he is.
What? I don't listen to Howard anymore. Am I missing something?
He's that level of fame. Like, you pretty much, it's probably out of your pants, like more than it's in your pants at that point in life.
Well,
he had a period between his wife when they got divorced and his new wife, Beth,
right,
that he was going crazy. And I'm sure he wasn't he wasn't worried about being too famous. He was loving life.
Like, me too.
He was fucking everything in the world.
Well, someone like Howard Stern, and I say this lovingly, if he's not famous, he's not getting laid because he's not a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it is what it is.
He knows it. He says that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
there's one thing missing from this whole conversation that I've just realized.
What's that?
The big, person in this story was West Arkeen.
Yeah, West. Here we go.
Yeah, West was a lot of the catalyst too. Like, West joined Sam and the Apes for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, he was a guitar player in there for like a couple months, and he was like a big catalyst of why we were all hanging around with Guns N' Roses too, because he was the fourth T-man, kind of like Jew, besides Sam Mann, so he'd be the fifth. But he Jewish, crazy, drunken rocker dude, crazy man. He fit right in, and we grabbed him right away, and a lot of parties that way. He was up at the mansion all the time partying.
I love it. We've gotten some really cool stories from James Hunting. Raz, I believe you were with on that episode, and
James went to Kosovo with me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Joey did. His brother did.
Okay.
On one of those USO tours.
And how about Greg Buckwalter, who were both in the Outpatients with West? Do you know him at all?
Oh yeah. Was he the singer?
He was keyboards.
Keyboard? Oh, I didn't know him.
Greg Buckwalter was like kind of a big sideman. Like when we were all coming up right then, when we were in our 20s, he was already like playing with like Ozzy and Dio or stuff. I think he was already big. So it might have just been like, well, Wes met him through like the big boys at the time to get him to play on the record.
See, I love hearing about Wes though, and just intrigued with this story, and it's a heartbreaking story because, I don't know, I'm a short Jewish kid as well, and I hate hearing that.
I gotta go. No, I'm kidding. I didn't know you were Jewish.
I was. Well, I mean, there's a lot of, in a more serious note, there's a lot of anti-Semitism out there, so I got to wear my Jew. I wear it proudly. I mean, it's disgusting what happened in Pittsburgh.
Right. I'm going to tattoo a big "hi" on your neck when you come out to L.A.
Do it. I actually have patience. I have patience in Hebrew written on my. Yeah, not for Guns N' Roses. It's just because my patience is wearing thin, so I just put patience on my arm. Plus, aesthetically too. And no offense, Raz. I like how Hebrew lettering looks as a tattoo. And not everybody. I have no connection to any Asian culture. I mean, even if I did, some people are like, oh, I like it. I like, that's cool. But even though I'm not a real practicing, religious, it's still part of my culture. So, but that being said, Howard, I at some point, Howard, I have to just go out to California. I've been saying that forever. But to get tattooed, I would be honored. Whatever I got to do it. And speaking of the shop, you're obviously there right now, and I know we can't keep you forever. When did it open? And actually, what do you have other than the shop? Like, what's going on with you? Any special projects, things you're working on?
We opened on 9/9/09.
Cool.
And so next year at the Big Ten, and we'll see the streets. There's a lot of civil war going on the streets about rent and stuff like that. So I don't know. I love coming to the shop every day. I bought an accordion, and I'm going to make accordion sexy again. I'm learning how to play it, and that's a lot of fun. I'm doing that every day. And who knows? I'm also kind of maybe, at my house, I have a few guest houses in the back, and I'm going to maybe kick somebody out and turn that into a studio and just get off the boulevard one day. And just
That must be killing you, man, that rent over there. Like, you're like working for your landlord almost.
Well, my shop is small. It's very tiny, and it's
But still, location.
affordable. I'm subletting from somebody, and I've been doing it for so it's affordable. It is really high, but I've been lucky that the shop's always made money to pay the bills. I mean, I'm not getting rich here, but I'm doing all right because it always pays for itself. Sometimes after all the bills are paid, it's only like a couple $100 more than all the bills being paid. But in the bills being paid, it includes my salary, so I'm a happy guy.
And and I'm not sure when it was, but you've had, because you maintained your friendship with some of the GNR guys, but you had Steven Adler stop by your shop and Duff McKagan.
Yeah.
You're still in close contact with them?
Well, Steve comes in all the time. He actually uses the tailor next door to me. I turned him on to it, and so he's always getting his clothes. So I see him the most out of everybody.
Okay.
And he's an old, he's a buddy. He's a mensch. He comes in and hugs everybody and kisses everybody, and he's always the first one to take pictures with people. He's a special person. And I don't mean that in like Raz is a special.
You beat me to it. I got you.
I'm kidding.
I know it's hard not to like Steven, isn't it?
Duff is cool. Duff brought his daughter in, and she got her first tattoo.
Okay.
At 18. So that's where it's gone now. I've never tattooed Duff, but he came on my grand opening party, which was a surprise to me. I didn't expect it. He's a great guy. And those are the only two I really see. I haven't seen Slash in years, and Axel I haven't seen. One day I was at a place called what the hell was it called? It was next door to the Whiskey. What was that called? That little club that Phantom, the drummer guy used to from the Stray Cats owned. It was the Kit Kat Club, the Cat Club.
There you go.
The Cat Club. And I was sitting there outside, and it must have been like a Tuesday night or something like that. And this guy comes up to me, and he's got all these braids in his hair and everything, and I'm talking to him, and then I realized, I go, is this Axel? And he goes, yeah, Howard. I didn't even recognize him, and I was talking to him for like a minute because he had just braided out all his hair.
Yeah, that face.
That unrecognizable.
Wow.
So that was the last time I saw him, and that must have been, oh, my God, that's probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, I used to have long hair, and then I think right before I turned 35, I was 34, I cut it all off. But for the last couple of years, I was thinking, man, I should just cornrow my hair. And then when I see pictures of Axel, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I didn't do that.
Yeah. For a while, I had my Terrence Trent Teman look going.
There you go.
Terrence Trent Darby.
Your name across my heart. There you go.
Before I shaved my head, I had a little bit of hair left on my head, and I had the girl I was in that band, the Long Necks, and we had a black chick singer, and she could do the braids, so she spent probably 10 hours braiding all this stuff into my hair, and I looked pretty cool for a while. But
that was a band. Is that the same people that were? What was that? The Hippie Shakes or whatever?
Yeah, the Long Necks.
That was the same band. They changed the name.
No. The Hippie Shakes was with Jack. No, this was with the Long Necks. We actually did pretty well. We got a little record deal. I was in a band called Medicine Show. That was probably one of the biggest.
I remember that, man.
That was an all-English band. I was the only American drummer, and we got signed to Chrysalis, and we went over to England a couple times, and that was a good band. The singer, we broke up, and the singer fell on hard times, and now if you go down to Hollywood Boulevard, she plays the Catwoman. She's out front. Kim, she's a good soul. But Luke, the bass player, do you remember Luke?
You guys jammed at Folk U, though, right?
Yeah. We used to rehearse there. Anyways, yeah, that was a good times.
I'm definitely going to make my way out to California for a variety of reasons.
Thanks for the warning.
One of which is going to be to get tattooed by you, Howard, because it would be
All right.
it would be an honor. And so it's Teman Tattoo. I mean, if you're out in California, I mean, a lot of people, Studio City, a lot of people travel.
Hey, tell everybody to go on my website and buy my posters.
Yeah, HowardTman.com.
Yeah, HOWARD, T as in Tom, EMAN. Or you can go to tmantattoo.com, t-man-tattoo.com. Yes, my posters are on sale there. There's probably 35 posters on there you could choose from. And my newest one is called American Heroes, and it's all the people that America considers our heroes, like all the Kardashian, Taylor Swifts, and all. And then they're all strippers on the stage, and all the like Kanye's and all that are all throwing money at them. It's a great poster.
That's pretty freaking brilliant. I love it.
Okay.
I got to check that one out.
I'm going through your posters now. My God, you have.
You got any Sandman and the Ape shows coming up, or any Naked Hand Dance? Are you doing any of those?
Eric is coming out to town from Colorado, my little brother, and we're going to do a big party at Alan's house, and it's open party. You guys should come to that. And Sandman, we're gonna play that show, a show at Alan's big house. That's my brother. My brother has one of the top designated Airbnbs in LA. It's top rated, and it's a huge house that he's built himself. He's got the artistic construction bug, and he built this house that is. Anytime you see a picture of LA, the whole the scenic spread of downtown LA, that was taken from on top of his mountain, the same mountain he lives on, and that's all the views out of all his windows. And it's when Airbnb people come into town from Seattle, they stay at Alan's house. It's unbelievable. Anyways, that's where the big party is going to be in November.
When is that? Oh, November. I might have to go.
Yeah, you should.
All you old fuckers are too weak to lift a fat gimp up the stairs now.
That's true. You can walk a little bit, right? You can get up out of your chair.
I can get downstairs pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You and me both, Raz.
Funny.
Well,
good.
Howard, this has been awesome. It's I've been looking forward to talking to you for a while. Obviously, if you're ever in New York, please, I would love to have you come down to the studios and meet you in person. But hopefully first I come down to your tattoo studio and get some of your brilliant work on my body, which is.
Are you in the city?
I live on Long Island, but I work here right now in Tribeca at iHeartRadio.
Very cool.
All right, Howard.
Hey, Howard.
Thank you.
I got a question real quick. Hey, I'm interested in talking about doing a different book cover. When's the best time to call you, man?
2025. No, I don't know. Maybe middle of next week or something.
Okay. I'll get a hold of you. When's
I just finished. I don't know if you know, in L.A. there's this old head shop. It's the oldest one in L.A. called the Captain Ed's, and I just got finished.
In Van Nuys.
They're 50 years. Yeah, in Van Nuys. They have 3 of them. One in Reseda, but they turned 50, and I'm doing their 50-year poster. I mean, they're iconic. Captain Ed's.
I love that place.
I just finished. I just finished them.
That's like a Freak Brothers cartoon come to life, man.
It is. It's got the fabulous Furry Freak Brothers in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's standing in front of their shop. It's kind of like
You know a lot for not actually being ahead, man.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I was a stoner my whole life, like you. We're 70 stoners, man. We're a rare breed. We actually we are the best age, Raz, you and I. You're about, how old are you, like 55, same as me?
No, 1965.
Yeah, I'm born in 64. So we have the best age because we were like one of the last people to have sex before AIDS. We were like 16. Oh, my customers are here.
Okay, I got to hold you, man.
Thanks, Howard.
Later, Howard. Good talking, man.
Okay, talk to you guys later.
So that was really cool, and I love hearing, much like I would hear Teddy and Roberta talk about their friendship and things that they can relate to. That's what I got from Howard and you, Raz. You know, you may not have seen each other for a while, but just hearing you reminisce and, hey, do you remember that place? Oh, yeah. Do you remember this band? Oh, yeah. And just being, you know, me being a listener. Yeah, I'm hosting it, but me being a listener for this conversation was cool. I don't know. How about you? Did you enjoy catching up with Howard a little bit?
Yeah, it was cool, man. I love Howard. You know, he's one of my favorite people from back in the day, and I'd actually wish I'd see him more often, but, you know, we all got our lives and we're super busy, so.
Yeah, and I know, obviously, Howard's super busy. He gave us some time, and, you know, you hear tattoo machines going off in the back and customers walking, so he had to jump off. I know you got to go soon, but as we wrap up episode 89 of the AFD show, again, I can't thank everybody enough, whether it's, you know, you find us through a friend, you know, like Raz Q found us through our friend John Miller, or if you found us through Alternative Nation, iHeartRadio, which is launching their first podcast awards next year. Conversation for another time. Spreaker, Stitchers, Google Play. We're officially on YouTube, of course, thanks to RazQ. But I do want to read this very quickly. Speaking of recommendations, and I know you have gotten a lot of great and sweet things written about you, Raz, in your book. But this was written on our Facebook. From Charlie, and she writes, wow, just stumbled upon this podcast randomly on Alternative Nation's website. Was digging into Axl Rose a bit and was led to the episode with Greg Buckwalter. We were just talking about that with Howard. I loved it so much, I can't wait to listen to other episodes. I won't be surprised if I breeze through all of them in no time. I love what I learned. I thought Brando was so fluid with his questions and a great listener, which I love so much. Hate when these people getting interviewed are pushed around and cut short in speaking. It actually breaks my heart. I love how Brando mentioned that he also talks about heavier topics on this podcast, like depression and addiction, something else we just talked about with Howard. I think it's good for all to hear, to have and hear those kinds of conversations. I loved Greg. His entire story, top to bottom, inspired me immensely. Can't wait to dig my teeth into the next one after I take another listen or two to Greg's episode again. Wow. Thanks for doing this podcast, Brando. It kicks ass in so many ways. Love how candid you are. I hope this channel blows the fuck up. Excuse me. Heart, Charlie. So just, it's that kind of stuff is what keeps me going. It's getting to work with Raz Q, what keeps me going, to talk to people like Howard. I mean, this is a cool project that I appreciate everybody who's been coming along for the ride. And unless you have anything else to say, Raz, I think that we could wrap it up here.
That's all. I'm good.
That's all, folks. So until the next episode, I will give some teasers, okay? I hate doing this, but I've been given yeses. Michael Monroe should happen from Hen I Rocks. I was told yes, so I'm hoping. Maybe even the next episode. I don't know. So we'll see. And also, it's so funny because all these fringe characters. Hey, you know what? If I want to interview Slash's high school janitor, I will if he has a great story. But I'm going to be interviewing Matt McKagan, Duff's brother, who's a music teacher out in L.A. And
Thanks to the lame ass security, I'm going home.